sun just peeking over the pine. Coffee in my hand, feeling just fine. Dust rising up where the blacktop ends. That old gravel road's my oldest friend. Faded blonde paint, swinging front gate. Mama's voice calling when I ran late. First kiss stolen where the creek runs wide. Summer nights with the fireflies. Every mile's got a story to tell. I know each one and I know it well. On that gravel road, I'm free and alive, kicking up stones as the world rolls by. Every turn's a piece of home, I know. My heart beats steady on that gravel road. Sometimes I roam, but I always return to the place where my soul still burns.
Hello, everybody. Either the chat feature is not working or nobody is here. Both are not good options. So let me see. If there's anybody here and you're able to message in the chat, that would be good so that I could see if it's working or not. Seems like it's not working. Although now it is. Mara's here. Good. Mara. Of course, thanks for joining, Mara. You are watching your second live stream today. So, thanks for making it. I'm not sure if I told you, but I might have mentioned it before, but this will be our second book of the year, the new year. So we finished, I think in January, the 1st of January was our last stream for the Diary of a Wimpy Kid. It was the 1st or 2nd of January. And then we have the Pompei book. And the next book we'll do is The Old Man and the Sea. So this is the book. I'll say it again at the end of the live stream. Yeah, that's interesting how there's a delay. So I can see only, hey, Mr. Teacher, and now only you and me sounds funny. Nice hat. Thanks. Sometimes people wear a hat when they have a bad hair day. We say bad hair day. That's not the case. for me. I was just wearing a hat, and so I wanted to wear the hat for the stream as well. I think that's okay. This is a baseball hat, or people say cap. To wear a hat, to wear a cap. So that's the book. We'll do Ernest Hemingway, The Old Man and the Sea, in American classic book. So not so long, 120 pages, 127. So not long. This book was written, notice, was written in 1952, or published in 1952. And some of the vocabulary might be a little old, but I think it's a good stepping stone for us. So we'll go to start reading longer books. We'll start discussing the story a little bit more. I think in the past, we focused a lot on vocabulary, which is good, but we'll do these books now where we'll discuss the storyline a little bit more. And yeah, so that's important. Hey, Valeria. Thanks for joining. Nice to see you here. The usual suspects are here. The usual students. So thanks everybody for joining. We'll discuss the part 2 of what we read. I'll highlight some terms which I think are useful, and then we'll talk about what might happen, because I'm also reading along with everyone else. So I have not gone ahead past page 64. So I'm here where we discussed. That's where I stopped reading. So I don't know what's happening after this part. But let's get into it. So the last time there was someone I was explaining the story to. It might have been Valeria. Was it Valeria or Julia? Maybe Julia, who didn't read, and they wanted to get a overview of the first 6 chapters. And then we read from chapter 7 till chapter 12. So from 32 to 64. And great book. If you haven't read it or haven't started reading it, you should. I would recommend it for English. And it's engaging enough, even though it's a simple book, it's engaging enough where you're excited, and I think the story wants you or helps you have fun while reading, so it's not boring. Hey, Sander, thanks for joining. Appreciate you joining the live stream. We're reviewing part 2 of the book. I Survived Pompeii. Okay, so just to overview the first part. So the first part, they meet each other, Marcus and his father, and Marcus needs to get his father out of captivity. We say captivity, to be captive or held captive, out of captivity. and he finds a snake, I think a cobra, and he starts running towards his father, who is getting ready to fight as a gladiator. So they're both slaves, the father and the son, and they reunited. Now Marcus needs to, or he wants to free his father. He puts on this Roman this Roman outfit, this higher class Roman outfit, and he finds his father. He has the cobra, and this is where we get into what we just read. So, chapter 7 through chapter 12. I'll give a rundown. Remember, rundown in overview, a summary, a synopsis of what happened in these chapters. And then we'll also cover a few terms. And there are so many, like I said last live stream, on the last live stream, there are so many terms and expressions and words to cover that we won't go through all of them, but we will cover some. And I want us to also get in the habit of reading so much that we start intuitively learning from the context. Just as in a conversation, if you speak to a person who doesn't speak so well, and they are maybe a beginner, and they're telling a story, you're able to understand what they're saying from the context. The same goes if you don't speak well and you listen to a native speaker. Okay, so let's continue from the snake part. So basically, he has the cobra at the end of chapter 6. Chapter 7 starts with, I'll just read the first part so we get the beginning. Marcus stepped slowly, clutching the basket. At first, he didn't notice how people moved aside for him, how slaves bowed their heads. And then he understood his disguise. Remember, disguise is his outfit. So to disguise is to hide, to appear to be something else. So he disguised himself as a Roman or Roman upper class individual when he took the clothes. Remember, so he was a slave. He disguised himself as a Roman, and he's walking through the crowds, and the other slaves are bowing their heads as he walks by. And also notice clutching the basket. So he's holding tight, holding on to the basket, clutching the basket. So we have clutching. I like disguised. I like bowed. And the guards are trying to stop him as they see him. And he makes eye contact. So also to make eye contact, to look into someone's eyes, we can say to make eye contact. He makes eye contact with one of the guards from before. If you missed the first part, hey Triviki, thanks for joining. Or Trivik, thanks for joining. So if you missed the first part, it might be good to rewatch, because the first part we had the guards trying to stop Marcus from getting to his father. One of the guards specifically was poking his father with a spear. And I think it was that guard who made eye contact with Marcus as he's running again, this time in the Roman outfit, to his father with the snake in the basket, the cobra. And hey, Blousebury, thanks for joining. And so he's running, he makes eye contact with the guard. The guard yells. Do they say yell or shout? The guard yells. Let's see. It says, page 33, just so we have context for those who are following along. The guard makes eye contact. They say, their eyes met. Stop him. But it was too late. Marcus tore the lid off. So the guard yells, stop him. And Marcus takes the lid off. It says tore the lid. So to aggressively take the lid off, to tear, he tore the lid off of the basket. Remember, he has the basket with the snake, the cobra, and he tore the lid off. And he basically threw, it says and with all the strength he could gather, he thrust the open basket toward the lanista, propelling the snake into the air. So he's throwing the snake out of the basket into the air. The cobra soared. Remember, soared, just like the Magic Treehouse, the first book we covered, soared to fly. So the snake is soaring through the air, twisting, hissing. The sound a snake makes, hissing, is tss, tss, tss. We have the snake sound. Tss. If some of you guys have caught a snake before or have played with snakes, they make this sound. Tss, tss. Okay. The snake struck the lanista in the chest and then landed on the ground, coiling itself tightly. Coiling I like as well. Coiling is like a coil. For example, when we take a spring, which is coiled up in this circular pattern, with a wire, we can coil up a wire. So that's a good term. So he throws the snake. Hey, Mamon. Nice to have you. So he throws the snake at the Roman guard, the lanista. And there's this chaos. At the same time, again, we have a earthquake, or something similar to a small earthquake. Remember the beginning of the book, it started with rocks flying through the air, buildings getting destroyed. So then we went back in time and we have these small, subtle, notice subtle, silent B. These small, subtle earthquakes where everybody's a bit confused about what's happening, what is this? And they're getting bigger and bigger. So these earthquakes are getting more concerning. And during this earthquake moment, after he throws the snake, everybody starts running and there's a bit of chaos happening. Marcus and his father, as everybody's escaping, they find a horse. They get on the horse and they start leaving the city. So now let me give you the page number. Yeah, so page 36. Page 36, and I'll just read a little bit. Tata is his father's name. This way, Tata said, pulling Marcus to one of the riderless horses. The horses which don't have a rider, riderless horses. It was a ragged white mare that looked 100 years old. One of her ears looked as if it had been chewed off, talking about the horse. Tata grabbed the reins and soothed the horse while Marcus climbed on. Okay, they get on the horse and they leave the city. They head towards Mount, I think, Vesuvius. Let's see. Yeah, so page 38, it says they headed for the mountain Vesuvius, a massive triangle of green that loomed up to the east of Pompeii. If I'm not wrong, it is Mount Vesuvius which had the volcanic eruption. Volcanic eruption. So they unknowingly left the city and they're heading towards the mountain which is the volcano as they're escaping because they're slaves. I keep saying that just so people understand they're slaves. At this point, they're slaves who have escaped. Now, presumably, people will start looking for them. So they ride for hours. They're going up the mountain. Basically, they get to some point where there's a wooded area with trees, and they've been riding for hours, and they decide to get some rest from all the riding, and they fall asleep. Now, first, Tata falls asleep. He's the one actually riding the horse. Marcus is sitting behind him. So Tata's exhausted. They lay down. He falls asleep. Marcus, he's trying to fall asleep. But he keeps feeling this shaking. Remember, shaking is like this. So he feels this shaking motion, and he can't fall asleep. So he gets confused about what this is. He looks at the horse. The horse is also looks unsteady. I'll just give you the page number, page 44, so that we can follow along. Let me see if I can see what. Okay. All right, I think it's good. Page 44. I also want to cover the first sentence on page 44. So Marcus lay down next to Tata, but he couldn't get comfortable. His muscles ached from the long ride. First two sentences. Marcus lay down next to Tata. So we have lay. We have to lie and to lay. These are different verbs. So to lie and to lay. To lie down, when we're going to sleep, we would say to lie. The past of to lie is to lay. The past of to lay is laid. So for objects, we would say laid down. For people, we would say lay down in the past. So to go to sleep, we're reading Marcus lay down next to Tata. If we were saying about Marcus's hat, Marcus laid down his hat next to Tata. So to lie versus to lay. To lay is for objects, to lie is for people. So that's important. Okay, so but let me get to the other part about the why he couldn't sleep. Once he drifted to sleep, as we're falling asleep, we can say we're drifting to sleep or drifting off to sleep. So once he drifted to sleep, but was awakened, not awakened, but awakened, when the earth seemed to be shaking. The earth seemed to be shaking. He sat up to sit up. He sat up, wondering if Tata felt it too. But Tata was sound asleep. Okay, Tata was sound asleep. Was Marcus imagining things? Maybe what he was hearing were just the rumbles of his own angry heart. Before this happened, before him and Tata got to this area and went to sleep, they were talking about the slave owner. I forgot his name. And so Marcus was a bit angry about how him and his father were treated. Okay, and so that's why he's saying rumbles of his own angry heart. So it's a metaphor. But Peg is the name of the horse after Pegasus. Pegasus is from the Roman historical or mythical horse. Pegasus, Peg for short. But Peg seemed restless too, stamping her feet, snorting. Restless, great word. Restless. So Peg also wasn't sleeping, the horse. Turvik, thanks for free videos on your channel. I practice with them on a daily basis and see significant progress. Keep going. It helps a lot. Know it 1,000 words of thanks. It helps a lot. Know it. 1,000 words of thanks. Good. Good. I'm glad, Turwick. Good job doing it. And every day, I was telling someone else who takes part in lessons, weekly lessons, that they just actually started watching English cooking videos. And I was excited because that's the process of having your daily routine in English, where naturally you have tasks that you do throughout the day, which you now will do in English. For example, cooking videos or texting people, maybe in English, or when you're looking up information on the internet, you'll write the question in English, or listening to music might be in English, or reading the news might be in English. So this progression of having more and more English in your life, and I think the videos are one way, Terwick. You know, reading books like this is another way, and listening to music is another way, and talking to yourself. So good job, and thanks for the feedback. Okay, so all right, so he can't sleep. He eventually does fall asleep. He has a dream about this monster, and in his dream, he can't breathe because this monster is. What was the monster doing? Let's see. We have him dreaming in chapter 9. Okay, so he's fighting this monster called Hydra, page 46, 47. Hydra is this monster, and the Hydra is breathing to breathe. Remember, to take a breath, and we can also say to breathe. So the monster is breathing onto Marcus, and its breath is poisonous. So Marcus, in his dream, he says, the poisonous Hydra breath, Marcus gagged and coughed. So gagging is when you can't breathe, and coughing, that's coughing. He says, page 48, his throat burned, his chest felt as if it would explode. So he's having this dream. He wakes up, and it turns out Tata is shaking him. He's waking him up and telling him, we need to get out of here, out of this area, because we can't breathe. There's some kind of mist, some kind of sulfur or something in the air. Let's see what it was. It wasn't sulfur. It was, yeah, sulfur. Sulfur gas, a type of gas, sulfur in the air. And Tata, remember we talked about Tata in the past, what he did. In part 1, we talked about that. Tata, this is some syrup, cough syrup. I'm recovering from a sore throat. As we say, sore throat. So, just some cough syrup. Now, Tata was the slave of the scientist, so he learned a lot about science and plants and nature and gases. So he's examining the clues. If there's a mystery, we can say clues. There are clues to a mystery. So at first, there's this gas that wakes them up. They can't breathe. You can die. And then as they leave, the horse starts to behave as if it wanted to leave the mountain. And Tata wants to explore. Not explore, he's not curious, he wants to find out what's happening. And Marcus feels a bit concerned. There's also people having dangerous breath. Right, Mara, that's a good one. Yeah, there's also that. Just like the Hydra from the book. By the way, did you, unfortunately, I recommended the wrong book on one of my videos. So, Mara, are you able to follow along with your book, the graphic novel, or no? Is it completely different? Because maybe you have the same story with Marcus and his dream with the Hydra, and then also them going up the mountain and experiencing the gas, and then the other series of events. I'm curious because yours has pictures, slightly different. Definitely not. Okay. Just curious. All right. So next time, Mara, we'll get the right book, but that's my fault. I apologize. If somebody doesn't have the book, please get this book, not the graphic novel. Okay, so they make their way up the mountain, and they find the sheep, dead sheep. They start putting together the pieces. We say to put together the pieces of a puzzle, for example. To put together the pieces. And they say, how come we couldn't find much water? So they're recalling or remembering as they traveled up the mountain, all the streams were dry. So there was one stream that had water, and the water tasted terrible. It was hard to drink. The horse didn't even drink the water. So then they also noticed that there was nobody else up there. They passed through these vineyards, I believe. Remember, wine. We have the drink wine, and we have where we grow grapes, a vineyard. So different pronunciation, vineyard. They passed through these vineyards, which had no people. So now they're putting together the pieces, and Tata, Marcus's dad, says, okay, let's leave because something is not adding up. At the same time, it was either at that moment or before or after, there's this eruption, a small eruption where let's read that part. So, yeah, it's a graphic novel like comics. Don't worry, Levy, it's okay, no harm done. Thanks. Yeah, and graphic novels are good too because of, I'm thinking about comprehensible input, which really is seeing and listening. But in a graphic novel, from the pictures, you're able to get a lot of context. So that's also perhaps a different way to learn through comics or these graphic novels. So it could be a different strategy, but good. So let's read. I just want to read one part where they have this final explosion, or not final explosion, but we have this mini explosion. Okay, I got it. Page 55. So those of you who are following, please turn to page 55 and I'll read the bottom. But okay, so Tata says, I've seen enough, he said. We must leave here now. But as they turned, there was a low rumbling. Again, we have rumbling, this noise. Remember, your stomach can also rumble when we're hungry. Okay, but there was this low rumbling from deep inside the earth. It quickly rose to a roar. A roar is also like a lion, right? As the ground started to shake, Marcus half expected a great beast to burst through the soil for a giant clawed hand to grab him around the throat. Okay, so Marcus likes these mythical stories that he read about. So that's why he's thinking about these giant claws grabbing him. What he saw next was almost more horrifying. Page 56. As the ground boiled, remember, water boils. But since this is a volcano, we can say, as the ground boiled, the field suddenly ripped apart right in front of them. The gaping crack looked like an evil, smiling mouth. So there was a crack forming in front of them. And great chunks of earth. We've talked about chunks. Chunks are pieces. Great chunks, so big. Great chunks of earth and dead sheep tumbled. To tumble is to fall. They tumbled into the blackness. Marcus and Tata staggered back, and then boom, an explosion shattered the air. Fire leaped out of the crack, a massive flaming tongue that seemed to lick the sky and then disappear. Oh, so the explosion came from that crack in front of them. I thought it came from a different place. So this crack formed in front of them. Then the explosion happened. Boom. And Marcus falls back. He rolls down the hill. Remember, this is a steep. We've talked about steep. This is a steep hill. And we have Marcus rolls down the hill from this explosion, and he lands on a tree. He's out of breath. Tata rushes down with the horse. He's like, "Are you okay?" "Yeah, I'm fine." Remember, he hit his back on a tree, so it knocks the air out of you, as we say. He got the air knocked out of him. And he says, "I'm okay." They get on the horse. And for some reason, we always have, and I didn't plan this, but we have these cliffhangers. We've talked about cliffhangers before when we don't know what will happen is a cliffhanger. So the first part also ended on a cliffhanger, and this part similar as well. So I didn't mean it, but as they leave the mountain, as a reader, we're thinking, oh, they'll probably go maybe through Pompeii, because the book started in the city of Pompeii, but we're thinking they're going to escape and quickly leave. without causing a scene. So we say without being loud or telling everybody. We say without causing a scene, without disturbing the peace. And as they're writing, Tata says to Marcus, we have to tell these people, we have to warn them about what will happen to the city. And Marcus, he says, no, we have to escape because they will be looking for us. We escaped as slaves. And Tata says, no, we're the only chance that they have. We have to tell them. And then Marcus gets this sense of encouragement, but also this sense of being a hero. And he gets reminded of these people he read about, like Hercules or Achilles and Odysseus, these heroes who he talked about before, and he feels that his father and him are doing the right thing. So they head towards the city of Pompeii, and the plan is to tell everyone and to warn them, to give a warning, to warn them about what is going to happen. Marcus's dad says that there will be a big explosion. So he's aware of volcanoes to some degree. Most people, I think, at that time were not too familiar with that. So Marcus, or his dad, knows something will happen. And if you remember the first part of the book, I'm not sure if we talked about this, but Marcus met this woman on the street. Before he found his dad, he met this woman on the street who told him this prophecy. Prophecy is something that will happen. So she was predicting the future, and she said this whole city will burn. And Marcus now remembers that woman from the beginning of the book when she told him that. And he was very confused, and he thought that she was weird. So he forgot about it until now. And that's where chapter 11 ends. And we have chapter 12. So we're going to read let's finish the book. Let's finish the book because the book ends, I think, at page 95. But then there's also this questions section at the end of the book where we have this section like, how was Pompeii rediscovered? Many, many centuries have passed. The mountain healed from the eruption. Okay, so we have this is quite interesting. So let's finish the book. We have about 40 pages. So let's finish the book. Let's try to do next week on Tuesday or Thursday. We'll do Tuesday or Thursday for the live stream. And I also want to give a heads up because people need time, and I need time, but people need time to get the book. So I want to share this now, and then we'll do some questions about what will happen next, because I have some questions. But this is the next book. So those who are just joining, Ernest Hemingway, The Old Man and the Sea. This is an American classic. And it was written in the 1950s, or published in the 1950s. I haven't read the book. I've read into it, but I haven't read the book. So I'll be reading it with everybody else. So that will be exciting. This will be the next book. So after we finish this, then we'll have this book. So if now is the time. It's 125 pages, I think. And now is the time to get the book or find it online. And you don't need to start reading it, but after we finish this, that's the book that we'll do. Please let it be on Tuesday. Okay. We'll do it on Tuesday. We'll do it on Tuesday, and we'll do it earlier. We'll do it on Tuesday. We'll do it earlier. So, okay, I have some questions that I'm curious about for the next part of the book, and I'm wondering if they decided to go back to Pompeii, are people also afraid, or is Pompeii not affected yet? We know that Pompeii will have this sudden destruction. It will be destroyed very quickly. But have people started to get concerned or worried? Because from the story, we see that they're having these small earthquakes and disturbances from the volcano. When they get to the city, I'm curious what will happen. Will they be apprehended or caught by the guards? Or Tata will probably try to gather people in maybe the town square and try to tell everybody. Why would they listen to him? I don't know. You aren't watching the sacred news or the lethal festival. How dare you? I definitely think following Teacher Levy is better and way funnier, for sure. You aren't watching the sacred news or the lethal festival. How dare you? I definitely think following Teacher Levy is better and way funnier, for sure. What is the sacred news or the lethal festival? Is this something with the Olympics? Or did the Olympics end? I don't know what that is. Or is it a TV show, maybe? Something for Thursdays? Is that what's happening? We can do Thursdays or Tuesdays. In the future, we could do both. But Tuesdays we can do earlier, so not so late. I know Italian stuff, Levy Italian stuff, but what kind of Italian stuff? I don't know. Is it an Italian show, or you have some kind of festival, like an Italian festival, or maybe a holiday? Oh my God, no, I'm not. It's okay if you are. It was ironic. TV show. Oh, it is a TV show. Okay. I mentioned on my video that TV shows I think are good for English, but I'm not too big on watching TV shows now myself. So, but for English, I would recommend um, intermediate level. Friends is good. The Office is good. Seinfeld is good. Suits is good. Just for conversational. Suits is a little bit more. Suits is a show about lawyers, about law. So, and The Office is slightly business related. So, not too much, but you can get business vocabulary and terms and expressions. So, it's good. I that gives you a good combination of work English and also everyday English. Friends is more everyday, casual. Seinfeld is the same. Suits, and there's someone. I've had a lot of doctors recently, and they like House's show um, with some medical vocabulary. Oh my God, no, I'm not watching that. On Monday and Thursday, we have the live lessons with Brian. Oh, Mondays and Thursdays. I thought it was Tuesdays and Thursdays, Mara. Sorry. I thought it was Tuesdays, but no, you told me before. Mondays and Thursday. Yeah, so Tuesday works. I just wanted to give more time since we're finishing the whole book or the rest of the book. So I wanted to give a week. But if you don't need a week, then well, you don't have the book, Mara. So the same goes for me. Yeah. So those who have the book, but you could find the book, Mara, online if you want to just get the last part or get the PDF somewhere and finish it. I don't love reading online because I don't like it. It hurts my eyes a little. So I prefer reading a real book. I like the feeling of underlining with a pen or a highlighter. So I prefer a real book. But the online book for now works because this book isn't so long. And that way you can have it, you can catch up before it's over. I'd always choose Levy's Lives over that horrific thing. Yeah, I don't know what show that is, but I'll see. Quick, it's called Lethal Festival. So that Lethal Festival. Oh, what? Maybe you had a typo or spelling mistake, Valeria? Lethal Festival? It says it's a music festival. So I don't know if that's what you were referring to. Anyways, yeah, Levy, Mondays and Thursdays we are busy. Okay. So do I. I love paper books and I will buy it as soon as it'll be available again. Yeah, don't worry about it. Just miss the or sorry, not you can miss this and then get on the next one. If you Festival di San Remo. Okay, thank you. Festival di San Remo. Oh, I see. It says February 24th until February 28th, which is this Saturday. So it wouldn't affect us for next week, right? It says the San Remo Music Festival it says, okay. It's what is it? It says, is the most popular Italian song contest and awards ceremony held annually in the city of San Remo, Liguria. Liguria, I think, is the region. Organized and broadcast by radio, whatever. It is the longest running annual TV music competition in the world on a national level, making it one of the world's longest running television programs. It is also the basis and inspiration for the annual Eurovision Song Contest. Eurovision I've heard of. I've heard of Eurovision. So I've never seen Eurovision, but I've heard of that. Okay, interesting. So it is the San Remo Festival. Over the years, it has become a nasty thing. I can only imagine, Mara, how bad it is, or perhaps it is nasty because of the dancing, or perhaps it's nasty because of the type of music. I don't know. Lethal because if you watch that stuff, you might lose your synapses. Brain murder. Brain murder. That's funny. Valeria. Yeah, Valeria, you are totally right. Hello, Murham. Murahid. Levy, they sell it as a nice thing, but it's not. Yeah, I don't know what kind of, is it techno music? Is it the techno type of music? I don't like techno music. Is it techno music? What kind of music is it? I was telling someone I like country music nowadays. We can talk about it tomorrow if you want, as we have the speaking class. But then nobody else can learn. So tell us, Mara, music meh. Liguria looks nice, but so the music festival, I think I wouldn't go to in general. I wouldn't go to a music festival in Italy in general, unless it would be um, Andrea Bocelli. I think I would go to one of his concerts or music events. If he had a couple of years back, he had a musical event or performance in Portofino. And of course, he has the famous song, Love in Portofino. And it's a coastal town or city. I think Portofino, it's northwest of Italy. And that would be a good experience, I think. But he's getting old. So I think he's 67 or something like that. He's getting old now. So I don't know if he has a son. I believe his son is also a singer. But I don't know. I don't know if his son is the same. Probably not. So I would have to do it soon while he's still doing performances. It's nowadays music, but we can't call it music and we can't call them singers. Andrea Bocelli is really worth seeing and listening to. Hmm. I can imagine listening to him live is probably a good experience. Um, he's world famous, I would say, not only Italian. So okay, so good job everybody who read the book. We're going to finish the book by next week on Tuesday. We'll meet on Tuesday then. So it's done. We'll meet on Tuesday. At some time, I'll write a post. I'll do a post again on YouTube, and I'll do a post on YouTube, and I'll do an Instagram announcement. But Instagram, I usually do the same day because I can do a countdown. So I do the Instagram post or the story with the countdown. And on YouTube, I'll post it earlier. On YouTube, I'll post earlier what time exactly we'll do it on Tuesday. So yeah. So thanks for joining. And then after that, we'll get this book, The Old Man and the Sea, Ernest Hemingway. I'm excited about this one because this is harder, but it's also, I think, a good step up from what we've been reading. This one, I don't know where my other books are. The Diary of a Wimpy Kid and The Magic Treehouse. So this will be a step up from what we've done. So have a good weekend, everybody, or have a good rest of your week. And I'll see you. Have a good weekend, and I'll see you on Tuesday. If you're able to join, you should join. If not, you can watch the replay on YouTube, just to stay consistent with reading. So thanks for being here, and have a great day. Have a great night.